welcome you all to our event. I, Ms. Saloni Gharke, along with Ms. Vaishnavi Garar and Mr. Bhushan Pradhan, will be your speaker for today's event. As our Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose very rightly stated, that one individual may die for an idea, but that idea will, even after his death, incarnate itself into thousands of lives. So, as an initiative started by AICT and Government of India, here we are today on 23rd of Jan to honor and remember our Netaji's indomitable spirit and selfless service to the nation, celebrating his birth anniversary as Parakram Divas to inspire the people of our country and especially our youth, and to act with fortitude in the face of adversity, just like our Netaji did, and to infuse a spirit of patriotism. On account of this event, we have held many competitions like poster and sketching, patriotic singing, a debate competition, poetry, GK quiz, essay writing, and even 1 minute video competition. So please stay with us till the end of our event to appreciate all the participants' good work and to know about our winners. And now we are gathered here for our event DRISHTI, the unseen vision of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, to look at the ideologies that Netaji believed and he truly followed, the strategies and the advancements that were brought by him, and how it still holds a very strong impact on our life. With this, I would now like to welcome our principal, Dr. Sandeep Joshi sir, HOD of Computer Department, Dr. Sharvari Govilkar ma'am, HOD of IT Department, Dr. Satish Verma sir, HOD of EXTC Department, Dr. Avinash Vaidya sir, HOD of ETRX Department, Dr. Rajendra Khade sir, HOD of Mechanical Department, Dr. Dhanraj Tambuskar sir, HOD of Automobile Department, Dr. Divya Padmanabhan ma'am, and our FE coordinator Arun Pillai sir, and to all our esteemed faculties, our students, and all our viewers. Now, I would like to call our principal to please say a few words.
Yeah, thank you, Saloni. Thank you, Student Council and all the student chapter office bearers. With a very short notice, you have organized very nice program. And I guess right from the poster, I guess the 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 thinking of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is reflecting in all our posters and the competitions which you have organized. Uh, the the very purpose behind celebrating Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, uh, Netaji's birth anniversary as Parakram Divas is to inculcate his thought process and his uh, efforts for nation building and encouraging the people of nation to think about the nation first is, I guess, uh, well inculcated among our students and our youth also. So I congratulate each one of you for this program, and I especially would like to congratulate you three, Saloni, Bhushan, and uh, uh, please update me with the third name.
Vaishnavi.
Vaishnavi. Very nice, very wonderful that you three came forward for giving the webinar on Netaji's uh, uh, Netaji's contributions towards the nation building. I am sure from the name itself, this program is going to be a big success, Drishti. So I wish all the best to each one of you, and I salute to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and let us celebrate first ever Parakram Divas at Pillai College of Engineering. Thank you. Over to you, Saloni.
Thank you so much, sir. It's our honor that we got this opportunity, and thank you for your kind words. Now, I would also like to call any of our HOD or faculty member if you would like to add a few words to what just sir said.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, madam. Please go ahead.
I must congratulate this team for having taken up this initiative to observe this particular day, the birthday of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. We realize that many times in history, his contributions are not as much recognized as it should have been. So it's really good to see that you people have taken this initiative, and I'm glad to be a part of this event. Best wishes to the entire organizing team.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And very rightly said, we'll try to put forward his contribution today.
Yeah, thank you, entire team. Uh, this is Satish Kumar Verma. Thank you, entire team, for organizing, as sir mentioned, for the first time, such events in the Pillai College of Engineering. And I would like to just say that real hero, what we should know, the term hero, the meaning of hero, is what we are talking about, or this program is all about that. Normally I don't understand why in the movies we call hero or heroine or something like that. But actual meaning of hero, which I normally tell to my both sons, the meaning of hero actually. And the actual meaning of hero, of course, today in this program we'll be able to really what we mean it by the term hero. So Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, sir, he was really hero for all of us. And as Divya madam also mentioned, that the type of recognition term is not appropriate, but yeah, the kind of learning that we should have taken from Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose sir is really not been so great so far. But hope by these such programs, we are really serious to take his vision forward. What we calling the name as DRISHTI. Maybe today we will be able to know more about unseen stories about Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose. Thank you all for organizing this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And yes, we'll try to do justice to all the work that he's done. Uh, so I'll just move ahead. So without further ado, let's begin and get to know more about our Netaji. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, born on 23rd of Jan in 1897 in Cuttack, Orissa, to the parents Jankinath Bose and Prabhavati Devi. He completed his education from Ravin Shaw Collegiate School, Cuttack, Presidency College, Calcutta, and University of Cambridge, England. Now, this is a very short story during his schooling days that Netaji's temperament first came to light, as they were not taught about Sanskrit, Hindi, or any Indian history there, but rather they were taught about the English customs. And also during those times, the Indians were treated very inferior to the Britishers, to which this Netaji didn't agree to all this. And one day, Netaji stood up to one of his professor who had his anti-Indian comments and was manhandling some of the students, for which Netaji was rusticated. But on this, Netaji said that he is happy to stand up for the honor and the self-respect and to sacrifice himself for what was right and a noble cause. So, from a very early age itself, Netaji began to read about Swami Vivekanand and Ramakrishna Paramhansa and started practicing the life of a yogi. Swami Vivekanand had very great sayings that God often comes in the form of poor, and so we must serve them. And so social service also became a very sole aim of Netaji. The teaching also consisted of connecting ourselves with God and to serve others. Now, he and his group used to go from home to home and beg for food for the poor. Now, we are telling you these stories and some of the qualities of Subhash Chandra Bose just so that we can even try to inculcate these in our daily life. Now, let's dive in and have a look at some of his great contributions in the various fields of science, culture, the women empowerment, his ideologies, the forward block and the INA formation, and the unheard stories about the INA, connections with the submarines, and his tactical weapon strategies, and much more. So, moving ahead to science and technology. Being the people in the field of science and technology, you all must have always wondered what Netaji thought about science and technology during his time. So, let's have a look at his view. Now, the quote that we have presented is very relevant to our present time, as Netaji stated that the appearance of science and culture is to be warmly welcomed not only by those who are interested in abstract sciences, but also by those who are concerned with the nation's building. We younger folk approach the task of nation building in a thorough scientific spirit, and we desire to be armed with all the knowledge that the modern science and the culture can afford us. Now, this depicts the Netaji's understanding of importance of science in nation building. However, it is not very surprising given that he had many advanced views on topics like economics, politics, and even spirituality, which clearly depicts the importance of research and innovation in our India for the social and economic development. Netaji also always used to say that we who are the practical politicians need your help, who are the scientists, in the shape of ideas, so that we can in our turn propagate these ideas and can help to translate these ideas into a reality. And for that, what is wanted is just a far-reaching cooperation between science and politics. So today on Netaji's birth anniversary, let's celebrate these two thoughts from him. First, that science and technology is super important for nation building. And second, that science and the scientists need to be free from all kind of political influence and control. Moving ahead to women empowerment. Even in this era, we are still fighting and struggling for the rights and empowerment of women, right? But can you imagine that back in the 1940s, there was an all-women regiment? Yes, that's true, and it is only because of our Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Netaji was the early champion of women's rights and women empowerment, who strongly believed that the participation of women in the freedom struggle was very important. Now, Netaji himself was a great devotee of goddess Durga, and his ideas about women empowerment were not just ideas or lip service. Instead, he proved that fact by establishing the world's first all-women regiment within our national army. And this army fought for the India's freedom. Now, this women's unit was called as the Rani of Jhansi Regiment, named after our great Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi and headed by our captain Lakshmi Swaminathan. Netaji referred to all these women as Ranis, and they came from varying caste, class, and background. Now, this unit is seen as first of its kind in Asia. This was remarkably one of the greatest achievements to induct our traditional homebound Indian girls and to train these women as a combat soldier. And from that point to today, here we are, where women have been spreaded and successful in almost all the fields of life. From our first IPS officer, Kiran Bedi, to the first Lady Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, and our first Indian woman in space, Kalpana Chawla. And I'm sure that our generation will carry it forward to a new and greater height. That's it from my side, and I pass over to Vaishnavi.
Thank you so much, Saloni. So, good afternoon, everyone. And up till now, we have seen Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose considerations and contributions for science and technology. Now, let us have a glimpse of his ideologies and various beliefs that helped India towards freedom and independence. Netaji strongly believed that Bhagavad Gita was a great source of inspiration for the struggle against the British. Swami Vivekananda's teaching on universalism, his nationalist thoughts, and his emphasis on social service and reform had all inspired Netaji from his very young days. The fresh interpretation of India's ancient scriptures had appealed immensely to him. Many scholars consider that Hindu spirituality was the backbone or has formed the essential part of his political and social thoughts throughout his adult life, although there was no sense of bigotry or orthodoxy in it. Netaji, who called himself a socialist, believed that socialism in India owed its origin to Swami Vivekananda. There were certain myths about Netaji, and one among them was that he was communist, but he considered himself as a socialist, and being socialist is very much different than being communist. Netaji knew that communism would not gain ground in India due to its rejection of nationalism and religion, and he suggested a synthesis between communism and fascism could take hold instead. In 1944, Netaji similarly stated, our philosophy should be a synthesis between National Socialism and communism. Here, Netaji had clearly expressed his belief that democracy was the best option for India. Netaji once said, one individual may die for an idea, but that idea will, after his death, incarnate itself into 1,000 of lives. This is how the wheel of evolution moves on, and the ideas and dreams of one nation are bequeathed to the next. He simply believed that people can die, but their ideas will not. They will always be remembered by thousands of people, and this is how evolution happens. Ideas are invested into others, and apparently, the idea of one nation will inspire and pass on to the other nation. As Saloni explained, how Netaji not only believed in women empowerment and equality for men and women, he also had faith in equality for all religions. His biggest achievement in public life was to bring about the unity of all the religious communities of India, be it Hindu, Muslims, Sikhs, or Christians. According to Netaji, fanaticism, which means extreme belief about religion that may lead people to act violent or extreme, was the greatest thorn in the path of cultural intimacy. And there was no better remedy for fanaticism than secular and scientific education. He was very keen that the members of different religion communities should learn more about the religious faiths and practices of other communities, and on ceremonial occasion should take part in their celebrations. This was his idea, and due to his efforts in this era, we never differentiate between different communities and castes, and we all celebrate each other's festival together with great enthusiasm. One situation which shows that Netaji was an ultimate Indian is where he refused to attend a religious ceremony at Singapore's Chettiar temple until the priests agreed to accommodate all the castes and communities. British India's commander-in-chief, Field Marshal Sir Claude Auchinleck, probably hoped to expose that what he saw as Netaji's comprehensive treason by waging a war against the King Emperor. Instead, the trio proclaimed the secular solidarity of a movement driven by a single shared purpose. This commitment to a non-sectarian future, which alone can ensure India's vigorous survival. This was Netaji's most significant contribution to the national cause. Netaji also considered literacy of workers as very important. He often warned the peasants and workers to keep away all the communal foods. As discussed earlier, he also considered secular and scientific education as the means to remedy fanaticism and to initiate an economic consciousness. So moving on to forward block. Netaji considered that the grossest crime is to compromise with injustice and wrong. And we all should take action against the injustice that is happening with us, with our society or within our society. Netaji formed and led the forward bloc of the Indian National Congress on May 3, 1939, after resigning from the presidency of the Indian National Congress. It was a left-wing nationalist political party in India, which emerged as a faction of within the India Congress. The party re-established as an independent political party after the independence of India, and it has its main stronghold in West Bengal. The formation of Forward Bloc was announced to the public at a rally in Calcutta. Bose said that who all were joining, they had to never turn back to the British and must fill the pledge form by signing with their blood by cutting their finger. And first of all, 17 young girls came and they joined that party by taking the pledge. So this shows that there were no such restrictions on women joining political parties or army for freedom of our nation. And he was totally in support of women empowerment. Initially, the aim of Forward Bloc was to rally all the left-wing sections within the Congress and develop an alternative leadership inside the Congress. Netaji began publishing a newspaper as titled Forward Bloc. The prime objective of the Forward Bloc was to bring all the radical elements of the Congress party so that he could spread the meaning of complete independence of India with adherence of the application of principles of equality and social justice. According to Netaji, life loses its interest if there is no struggle and if there are no risks to be taken. Hence, he took all the risks and faced a lot of struggles to make India free. And similarly, we all should try to take risks and struggle very hard to achieve our dreams and to make our nation proud. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much. So next I'll request Bhushan to continue.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Good afternoon, everyone. Till now, we understood the characteristics of Netaji and described a few incidences of his life. Let us now understand what was INA, the Indian National Army, also known as an Azad Indo Fauj, how was it formed? Let us understand. At the start of the World War II, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was placed under house arrest by the Britishers. He managed to escape from the house arrest and made his way through Afghanistan and Central Asia. He came first to the Soviet Union and then to Germany, reaching Berlin on 2nd April 1941. There he raised an army of Indian soldiers who were prisoners of war captured by Germany, forming the Free India Legion and the Azad Hind Radio. The Japanese ambassador, Hoshima Hiroshi, kept Tokyo informed of these developments. From the very start of the war, the Japanese intelligence recognized that the captured Indian soldiers considered Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose as a perfect person to to lead this rebel army. In a series of meetings between INA leaders and the Japanese in 1943, it was decided to give the leadership of the IIL and the INA to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. In January 1943, the Japanese invited Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose to lead the Indian nationalist movement in East Asia. He accepted and left Germany on 8th of February. After a 3-month journey by submarine and short stop in Singapore, he reached Tokyo on 11th of May 1943. In Tokyo, he met Hideki Tojo, the Japanese Prime Minister, and the Japanese High Command. He then arrived in Singapore in July 1943, where he made a number of radio broadcasts to Indians in Southeast Asia, exhorting them to join in the fight of India's independence. On the 4th of July 1943, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose assumed the leadership of IIL and the Indian National Army. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's influence was notable. His appeal inspired the INA, which had previously consisted of mainly of prisoners of war. He famously proclaimed that, "Give me blood, I will give you freedom. Tum mujhe khun do, main tumhe azadi dunga." This was the famous statement. Now let us understand the connection of INA with submarines. It was a secret service. First time when an important political leader has been offered a submarine passage to another distant territory. So let us start our voyage with the famous submarine journey ever. Netaji, having established the Free India Center and the Indian Legion with Sherman assistance, drove quite a few Indians into the movement through sheer force of his personality. While in Europe, Netaji made repeated attempts to convince Germany to facilitate his relocation to East Asia to answer the call of those present time. In the meantime, the Axis signed a military agreement on 19 January 1942, which included a Japanese proposal of deployment of German U-boats in the Indian Ocean. Now let us understand what was the weapon strategy, and let us know how he managed with the arms and ammunition during that time. Tokyo Boys. It is a very interesting incident. The INA did not have access to any heavy weapons, and the few tanks and artillery pieces which they had were used by the Japanese. Netaji understood the problem that a true freedom would not be achieved if they were reliant on foreign powers for technical support. Therefore, it sent some of his best technical minded men to Japan to learn flying and handle sensitive equipment like ham radios. These men, famously called Tokyo Boys, proved their worth, and Japanese inducted them in their own air force serving the Eastern Front. These men served with valor, and several of these men returned to India to train and induct as one of the first pilots of Indian Air Force after India got its independence. The primary weapons that the soldiers of that time they used: Japanese Arisika bayonets, British Lee Enfield. You can see the images of the weapons used during that time. Let us learn about what was Arisika. Arisika is a single short bolt action rifle capable of hitting targets up to 400 meters. The Arisika had 5 bullets in the chamber, which had to be loaded manually one at a time. Arisika series of rifles were the only small rifle that the Japanese managed to supply to the Indian National Army. Despite each model's differing calibers lead to severe logistical problems, since all have been used at more or less at the same time, as well as cumbersome loading procedures. Different calibers also meant different ammunition, which was in short supply as Japanese war economy was already pushed to the limit, making more equipment for its army. These stories act as a source of inspiration for all of us even today. This is history, but it is not just a story, but a source from where knowledge can be extracted. These are the lessons of experience from which we learn and apply even today. The history has a perpetual ability that forces us to grow and create innovations, which will in turn contribute to the growth of the nation. In this webinar, we highlighted the growth and advancement Netaji brought in our Indian army, about his strategies, the changes in the technology brought, also the alignments of his intellectual development. Jai Hind. With this, we would like to conclude and would like to hand over the session to Rishu Mishra.
Thank you, Saloni, Vaishnavi, and Bhushan for organizing such motivational webinar for all our students. As said by Netaji, life loses half its interest if there is no struggle, no risk in it, which simply means that life is incomplete without struggle. Today, in 1897, a hero was born with the dream of free India. He inspired millions of people with his ideas and teachings. He led the Indian National Force to free India from the British rule. Thoughts and ideas of Netaji inspire us to work towards building an India which he would be proud of. Today, this event is organized to inspire the students with the spirit of patriotic passion. Hence, all the student bodies of PC have joined forces to organize a list of events in Netaji's memory. Various competitions were held and students were requested to submit their work, and it was judged by the faculty. Firstly, I would like to thank all the participants for adding value to the success of this event. The submissions we received were truly awesome. Now, finally, it's time to announce the winners for the competition. For the first competition, it was poster making. We asked the participants to submit their posters to us. The first winner is Aditya Sahu, and the second is Janvi. These are the posters they submitted to us. The second we have sketching. The first winner is Akash Vishwakarma and the second is Abhishek Desai. For debate, the first winner is Kirnesh Vanuj and the second is Abhishek Pandey. For general knowledge quiz, our first winner is Abhishek Pandey and the second winner is Atharva Tombare. For essay writing, Our first winner is Riya Agarwal and the second winner is Kanika Sancheti. For poetry writing, our first winner is Shreyas Mane and second Riya Agarwal. And our last competition, that is short video, where they have to sing a patriotic song or something, and our winner is Ajay Prajapati. So this is the video that he submitted to us. Shivam, the audio.
Shivam, can you play once again? Actually, audio is not connected.
What an amazing video. So at the last, let's conclude our webinar. I would like to thank Deena ma'am, Malvika ma'am, Rakhi ma'am for helping us in this competition, and also Yogesh sir, Ranjita ma'am for their support. And also thank you Principal sir, Sharvini ma'am, Satish Kumar sir, Khade sir, Avinash sir for your support and guidance. Thank you all the faculty heads and student bodies, CSI, IEEE, ETSA, TPC, TAPAS, SMSA, ISHRE, SAE for helping us in this event. Thank you everyone for attending with us.
Yeah, thank you, Student Council. Nice function.